As a creative person, I have spent a great deal of my life being a student. I'm 82 years old. It took me 82 years to get to this chair. And every day I learn new things. The big challenge are developing within oneself, in your consciousness, in your belief system, what you're all about as a human being, what your identity is, what your interests are, what your hobbies are, what your beliefs are, to try to put that into a visual language, not a spoken language like I'm doing now, but in a pictorial language, a language of printmaking. As a fine artist, I was one of the first, not the first, but one of the first to experiment with the silkscreen medium. And that most silk screens, that squeegee coming across the paper, the image is very flat. But I had studied engraving and etching first. And in etchings and engraving, the imagery is raised up on the surface. Most people who remember the old engravings that you used to attend when you had a wedding invitation or a birth of a child, they had a kind of an embossed feeling to it. Well, I tried to take that embossed feeling from etching and apply it as a technique to silkscreen. If you're a museum goer and you want to learn a lot about art, you get up there and you put your nose not on the artwork, but close, and you study the techniques. How was this done? And in my prints, there are sometimes up to 50 colors that are printed. So it takes a long time to develop the imagery. For me, I can work anywhere from 3 to 5 years making an edition of one of the prints you will eventually see. And of course, as a contemporary artist, there are several challenges. One is to understand this technique and how to do it. That's the ink and mixing it and cleaning the screens and washing the screen and all of those technical things. The other big aspect is having something to say, and that's called the subject matter. Now, my work is basically surrealistic. My love, where I grew up, was nature. So I was externally, symbolically moved. There's one print, the title is Moontide. Moon has a tendency to pull the ocean back and forth. I'm a young artist again. I happen to spend time in the woods in the summertime, and I'm up in northern Wisconsin. It's very hot in August, very hot at night. I can't sleep, so I get up and decide I'll go for a swim. So I go down to the lake. It's very calm, and I happen to have one of these scuba glasses that you can put on your face so you can see underwater. So I put that on, and I swim out quietly. It's nice to get in the water. It was an interesting swim. The moon was just coming up at the time, in the middle of the night. And the moon was a full moon, and it was very bright. And as I swam underwater, I experienced two physiological things. One is I swam from a cold spot to a warm spot, that underneath the water, if you just look at water, you wouldn't know. But underneath the water, if you swam around, one spot would be warm and one spot would be cold. The second thing I noticed was, when I was underwater with the glass looking, it was like looking at a theater set. It wasn't a normal scene for me. This full moon was shining through the water and throwing a very mysterious imagery underwater, a surrealistic imagery, like a dream, with the weeds moving and me moving. Then I came up to top to get air. And when I came up slowly, and I looked through part of the glass. It was round. Underneath, if I looked down, I got that theater perspective underneath the water. And when I looked up, here was the external world with this beautiful moon shining. I saw the underworld, and I saw the real world. One was normal for me. It's what we would call every human being see as a realistic concept. The other one put me into a dream state. It was bizarre, it was different, it was unique. So I took that as a theme, and as you look at all of my work, you will see this theme, not all of it, that's an absolute. The vast majority of my work uses this mixed theme of a solar side and an underwater side. And I'm really using this symbolically to show this idea of mind of we all as human beings experience our here and now reality. We call it reality. Then we also experience our consciousness, our dreams, our thoughts, our ideas, our feelings that are in our body. Now, the purpose for me to tell this is to show that in my mind, even though these prints are dated, even though they occurred in my life over a long period of time, the thinking that I'm doing is usually triggered by a here and now event. So enjoy what you can. You know, I think most people will enjoy the aesthetics of the color and the newness of the interpretation. They don't see it every day on the street, so it's a different experience for people that come to a gallery and see my work. It's the mind that I'm really dealing with, not the techniques, not the process. And this is a constant, exciting process as your life unfolds.
This video has been made possible by the Wyoming Arts Council and the UW Art Museum Gala Funds.